Hello students, today we are starting up with the procedure for the design of two-way slabs. Two-way slabs. We have already talked about one type of two-way slab that was unrestrained. Now we are talking about restrained two-way slabs. Now what do we mean by restrained two-way slabs? Restrained slab is the slab whose corners are prevented from lifting. So it is a slab whose corners are prevented from lifting. And it contains suitable reinforcement to resist torsion. See, it is the slab. Let us say I am talking about a slab. This is, let us say, the room. I want to put a slab on this room. Now let us say the dimensions of this room are very large. Let us say this dimension is something like 15 meters. The other dimension is, let us say, 20 meters. Now if I want to put one slab without creating any beams, any supports in between, then the thickness of slab will be huge. So what will be better is, we will now have to divide this particular portion into sub portions by putting beams inside it. Okay, so let us say I am dividing this particular slab by putting a beam here and a beam here. So 15 meters is divided into 5 meters each. So this becomes 5 meters, this becomes 5 meters, this becomes 5 meters. Further, because this dimension is also very large, I, let us say, divide this particular dimension also into 3 portions. So each portion now becomes something like, let us say, this is 21 meters. So this becomes 7 meters, 7 meters, 7 meters. So one thing you must understand, that now it is not one slab. For designing, we will consider it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We will consider that it is a combination of 9 slabs. So this is slab number 1, slab number 2, slab number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Is it okay? Clear? Now let us say on this particular slab, we are constructing another room. So we are having walls here. So it means these corners are also prevented from lifting. So when these corners are prevented from lifting, like consider the corners for this slab. This is already prevented from lifting because it is continuing on this side. At the end also, if we are saying that we are creating walls around this particular room, so it means the corners are prevented from lifting. So each of these slabs will become what? It will become a restrained slab, in which it is prevented from lifting, and it contains suitable reinforcement because now it is prevented from lifting. So what will happen at the corners? At the corners there is a chances of twisting. So in order to resist twisting, the special reinforcements are provided at each corner. So those special reinforcements are called torsion reinforcements. So along with the normal reinforcement, we will be providing torsional reinforcements in this case. Is it okay? Now, because the design of this slab will be different for each and every case, the code IS 456 has said that the design of this slab will be done by suitable clauses that are given in the code. So we will be following a procedure that is given in clause annexure D, clause D1. So we will be following the procedure given in annexure D1. Is it okay? Along with that, I must tell you that there are clauses in between where the code is talking about the design of slabs here. So this was the clauses related to solid slabs. Is it okay? Clear? Over here, it is very well written that you can use any of the procedures that are applicable, and as the engineer might feel that these procedures are okay, and they can use those procedures to design the slab. So not only this procedure, there are a number of other procedures that are available, and if those procedures are well defined, they can be used for the design of the slabs. Okay, what we will be using is, we will be using a procedure that is specified in D1. Is it okay? Because this is a quite a lengthy procedure, I will be devoting this part of lecture to just defining of the procedure that is given here. Okay. Now what does the first thing says? First thing in the clause, yes, according to, you see that these are the restrained slabs. When the corners of slabs are prevented from lifting, then the slab is designed as this particular procedure. If you can see in this procedure, we have the moments that are obtained by these formulas. These formulas are the same as we have done it for unrestrained slabs. Okay, so the moments will be calculated by using these formulas, but the moment coefficients alpha x and alpha y, they are taken from table 26. Now I am specifically going to table 26. This is the table. Now earlier we used to define the moment coefficients for the unrestrained slabs by using table 27. Okay, so now we will be using table 26. So what does it say? Bending moment coefficients for rectangular panels supported on four sides with provision for torsion at corners. So if there is a provision for torsion at the corners, we are talking about the restrained slabs. Okay. Now in this particular table, the slabs are divided into 9 categories. Okay. So the slabs are divided into 9 categories. Look at the first category. It says that it is an interior panel. Interior panel. Then it says one short edge. This is wrong. It's not written continuous. It is actually discontinuous. One short edge discontinuous. Then it is written one long edge discontinuous. Then it is written two adjacent edges discontinuous. Then it is written two short edges discontinuous. Then it is written two long edges discontinuous. Then it is written three edges discontinuous, three edges discontinuous, and four edges discontinuous. Now how do we get into this particular category, that which category is there for our slabs? Okay, so for that I am moving on to this slab that I had drawn. Okay, so if I am using this particular slab, let me draw this slab in a planar structure rather than 3D. So this is the slab I am basically talking about. I have divided this slab into different portions in order to reduce the thickness and all. Is it okay? Now this is one slab, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 slabs actually. Okay. Now look at this slab typically. Okay. Slab number 1. This slab is continuous on all the four sides. So this slab number 1 is actually called an interior panel. Interior panel. So it means it is basically following case number 1. Look at here. What was written? In case number 1, it was written that there is an interior panel. Okay. So this interior panel is in which it is continuous on all the four sides. Then it is said one short edge discontinuous. I have one edge, but that is a short edge that is discontinuous. Case number 2. So this I have created. This seems to be the shorter dimension. So let us say I am taking this as 5 meters each side. and this is, let us say, 7 meters for me. Yes. Now you look at this particular portion of the slab. In this slab is continuous on this side, continuous on this side, continuous on this side, but the slab is discontinuous on this side. Is it okay? And which is this out of the two edges? This is 7 meters, this is 5 meters. So which is the shorter edge? 5 meter is shorter edge, and this 5 meter shorter edge is discontinuous. Okay, so it means this is basically following under case number 2. 3 edges are continuous, 1 edge is discontinuous, and the discontinuous edge is the shorter edge. Okay, can you search for any other case that has the same category? Look at this particular. Again, this particular slab is continuous on all the 3 sides. On this side it is discontinuous, and this discontinuous edge is again the shorter edge. So this particular slab is also case number 3. Is it okay? Clear? Now looking to case number 2. Now coming to case number 3. What does case number 3 says? One long edge discontinuous. Out of the 4 edges, 3 are continuous, only 1 is discontinuous, and that discontinuous edge is a long edge. Okay? So if I am going to that, look at this slab number 3, that is basically 3 sides are continuous, 1 side is discontinuous, and this discontinuous side is longer because this is 7 meters, the other one is 5 meters. So this 7 meter is longer side, and that is discontinuous. Similarly, this is case number 3. So out of the 9 slabs, 1 slab is case number 1, 2 slabs is case number 2, another 2 slabs is case number 3. Now looking at case number 4. Case number 4, it says 2 adjacent edges discontinuous. 2 edges are now continuous, 2 are discontinuous, but the discontinuous edges are adjacent. They are next to each other. Okay. Now look at this slabs. Look at this slab, slab number 4. Out of all the four corners, these 2 are continuous, these 2 are discontinuous, and these discontinuous edges are next to each other. So it is definitely case number 4. Look at the other things. Any other slab that is the same case? Yes, this slab is the same case. Even this slab is the same case. Continuous on 2 sides, discontinuous on the 2 sides. These 2 discontinuous edges are adjacent. Then this is also case number 4. So out of the 9 slabs, we can categorize these slabs into 4 categories. Case number 1, case number 2, case number 3, case number 4. Okay. Now look at any other case. So it means where will these cases exist? Case number 5. It says 2 short edges discontinuous. Then case number 6. It says 2 long edges discontinuous. Okay. So let's see what does we mean by 2 short edges discontinuous. Let us create another room, maybe a corridor. Maybe we have a corridor. This is the slab of that corridor. This is the slab, and we have divided this slab into 3 slabs equally. Okay. So this may be 7 meters, seems to be larger dimension. This is, let us say, smaller dimension. So this is also 5 meters. This is also 5 meters. This is 7 meters. Okay. Now instead of 1 slab, we will design it as 3 slabs. Okay. Now look at this particular interior slab. This falls under case number 5. Why? What does this slab says? It is continuous on this side, so it is continuous on this side. It is continuous on this side also. But the slab is discontinuous here, so this is discontinuous here. The slab is discontinuous here. And these 2 discontinuous edges are both 5 meters. They are smaller edges. So these are short edges discontinuous. So your case number 5 is two short edges. Case number 5 is two short edges discontinuous. Okay. Now coming to case number 7. Look at it. 3 edges discontinuous. Out of 4, 3 are discontinuous and the continuous one is long edge. One long edge continuous. Now if we look into this, 3 edges are discontinuous. So look at this. This is case number 7. How? This particular slab is continuous on this side. So on the longer side it is continuous and rest of the 3 sides are discontinuous. Clear? Similarly, this slab is also the same one. Slab, this is 7 case, discontinuous on 3 sides, continuous long side. This is also discontinuous on this 3 sides, discontinuous on the long side. So this is case number 7. Okay. So we have defined case number 1 to 4, 5, 7. Now 6, 8 and 9 are left. Okay. Now for that I am creating another slab. This is the slab. Now this particular slab is again I am, let us say, dividing it up into 3 portions. Okay. Clear? So this is, let us say, 7 meters. This is 5 meters. Now look at this particular slab, that is the interior slab. On this slab, these 2 are continuous edges. These are discontinuous edges. So slab is discontinuous on this side. It is discontinuous on this side. Out of the 2, this is 7 meters. This is 5 meters. So the longer span is discontinuous. So case number 6. Case number 6, it says 2 long edges discontinuous. 2 long edges discontinuous, it means we are talking about this particular. So this is case number 6. Okay. Now coming to case number 8. 3 edges discontinuous. 3 edges discontinuous and the continuous one is the short edge. Okay. So look at this slab. Out of the 4 edges, 3 are discontinuous, 1 is continuous, and this continuous is, because this is 5 meters, this one is continuous, is the shorter edge. So it means this is basically case number 8. Similarly, this is case number 8. Okay. Now coming to the last case. Where do we encounter the last case? Last case is 4 edges discontinuous. So it means this is the case of a typical very small room. We are creating a slab for this particular small room and it is discontinuous on all the 4 sides, but there are walls on these 4 sides. So corners are prevented from lifting. Corners are prevented from lifting. On all the 4 sides by having walls on top of it, but it is discontinuous on all the 4 sides. So this is case number 9. So this is how we can create, we can see which case the system will be following out of the 9 cases. Now once you know which case the system is following, then for each case, let us say we are talking about one case number 1, interior panel. For each case it is given alpha x, this is alpha x, and the value of alpha y is also given. Okay. So we will take the values of alpha x and alpha y from here. But the very important thing is, if you can see, alpha x are 2 values, 0.032, 0.024. 0.032, what it is written is negative moment at continuous edges. Okay. And next is, it is written as positive moment at midspan. Clear? So it means rather than having only alpha x and alpha y as we had it in the unrestrained slabs, where alpha x and alpha y we used to get one value out by linear interpolation, we will have 2 values for alpha x. One is a positive value, positive at midspan, another is a negative value. Similarly, for alpha y also we will have two values. One is a positive, another one is a negative. Now what do we mean by all this? Okay. So let us say I am taking typically a interior panel, and I am basically trying to draw the bending moment diagram for this interior panel. Clear? Because this interior panel will be loaded like this. So if I'm interested in the bending moment diagram of this interior panel, the bending moment diagram will be something of this type. Along x-axis. So it means if I'm talking about the interior panel, there will be some negative moment and there will be some positive moment at the midspan. Clear? This particular negative moment in the midspan will be taken by having the positive moment coefficient. This negative moment will be taken from the negative moment coefficients. Similarly, because it is a two-way slab, this particular interior panel is going to bend in the other direction also, and in the other direction also your bending moment diagram will be this. So there will be some negative coefficient here, some positive coefficient here. Is it okay? Now how do we take which is alpha x and which is alpha y? Now look at it. This is 5 meter span, this is 7 meter span. So 5 meter span will give me alpha x, and 7 meter span, longer span, will give me alpha y. So along this span, at this point we will have alpha x positive, and at the ends we will have alpha x negative. Is it okay? Whereas along this direction, at the center we will have alpha y positive, at the supports we will have alpha y negative. So we will be designing the system, we will be designing the reinforcement at the supports with respect to alpha y minus, and at the midspan with respect to alpha y plus in this direction. In this direction, we will be designing the midspan with respect to alpha x plus and the supports with respect to alpha x minus. So we will be finding out, for each case we will be finding out 4 areas. One corresponding to alpha x plus, another corresponding to alpha x minus, third corresponding to alpha y plus, and fourth corresponding to alpha y minus. Okay. Now these positive and negative bending moment coefficients are there for most of the cases. Okay. But then they are not there for some of the cases. I am magnifying it to show you that. Look at case number 6. For alpha x plus negative coefficient, it is written dash. Okay. Similarly, for case number 8, some values negative moment coefficients are dash. Then for continuous edges, there is only one value. Case number 9. Why these are so? Now looking at case number 9, we have already done case number 9. Because in this case number 9, the system is simply supported at these edges. The bending moment diagram, it is going to be simply like this. There will not be any negative moment coefficient here. So the alpha values are not there. We will simply have alpha x plus. In the other direction, we will have alpha y plus. Okay, only the midspan. Now coming to case number 6, in which one coefficient was missing. Case number 6. This is case number 6. Now in this direction, if we are talking about alpha x, because this is the shorter dimension, we will have, because this is discontinuous, we will simply have the positive value. We will not have the negative moment coefficients because this is not continuous on this side. Whereas this particular span will have a negative moment at the supports and then a positive moment here. So along this direction it will have both y minus and y plus. But in this direction we will only have x plus. Is it okay? Similarly, you can see other cases and find out why in some cases there is no moment coefficient given, because the conditions of the slabs are like that. Clear? Now, this is just I am talking about finding out the moments. I have talked about this clause 1.1. Okay? Then what does the second clause says in this? It says that slabs are considered to be divided in each direction into middle strip and the edge strip. And the middle strip, as shown in figure 25, the middle strip being 3/4 of the width and edge strip is 1/8 of the width. Okay? So what does that says? It means they are basically talking about this. Okay? So they are saying that if we are having this slab, we will not be designing the complete length of the slab as one. We will be dividing this slab into two categories. One is the middle strip, another is the edge strip. The middle strip will be designed based upon these moment coefficients. Okay? And edge strip will be designed, it will be written in the next clause, the edge strip will be given only the minimum reinforcement. Okay? So what we will be designing is basically the middle strip. And how much will be the length of this middle strip? The length of the middle strip will be 3/4 of the total length. In both the directions. This is the longer direction. Even in the shorter direction also, the same thing is there. We have the edge strip, we have the middle strip. So whatever reinforcement, we will get it by using the formula of alpha x omega lx square, that will be applicable to the middle strip. Okay? So it is written, the maximum moment calculated as in this thing apply only to the middle strip and no redistribution shall be made. Okay? Clear? I am leaving these clauses 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. Clear? So these are detailing clauses. We will talk to it later. I am now going on to clause 1.7. Reinforcement in edge strip parallel to that edge shall comply with minimum as given in section 3. So what was the minimum? We all know it was 0.12% B into D. So that minimum will be provided in this particular case. Okay? Along with that we have talked about the main reinforcements in the slab. Now we are talking about the torsion reinforcement. Torsion reinforcement shall be provided at any corner where the slab is simply supported on both the edges meeting at that corner. Okay? It shall consist of top and bottom reinforcement, each with layers of bars placed parallel to the sides of the slab and extending from the edges a minimum distance of 1/5 of the continuous span. Okay? Area of the reinforcement in each of these 4 layers shall be 3/4 of the area required for maximum midspan movement in the slab. What do we mean by this? So, this is a very important and very different clause that was not there in any of the cases. So, what does it say? It says that torsion reinforcement will be required in these slabs. Now, where we will be providing the torsion reinforcement? Let us say I am considering one panel of the slab. This is one panel of the slab. Okay? And this slab was continuous on this side. It was continuous on this side. Okay? Now, this particular slab is basically having 4 corners. Corner number 1, corner number 2, corner 3 and corner 4. Is it okay? So, it says this particular clause, it says that torsion reinforcement will be provided at the corner which is simply supported on both edges meeting at the corner. Okay? So, look at this particular corner. It is simply supported on both the edges. So, it means this is the case where we will go in for the torsion reinforcement. Is it okay? So, how much will be the torsion reinforcement? We will go for the torsion reinforcement from the edge. This particular value, this particular length, it will be 1/5 of the shorter span. It says this is 1/5 of Lx on both the sides. We will provide this reinforcement, or this is 0.2 Lx. we will provide the reinforcement. Okay, and then how much area should be provided here? The clause says the area of the reinforcement in each of these 4 layers shall be 3/4 of the area required for maximum midspan moment. So we have already calculated AST maximum at midspan. It means it will be ASTX. Okay, whatever is the value of ASTX, 3/4 of that value, that means 0.75 times ASTX. Whatever will be the reinforcement, we will provide it in this particular direction. Same we will be providing it in this direction. So in both the directions we will be providing the reinforcement 0.75 times ASTX. Is it okay? Clear? And this reinforcement will be provided just like a mesh, one at the top of the slab, another mesh is at the bottom of the slab. So if I am drawing the cross section, if I am taking the cross section of this particular portion, what does the cross section will look like? The cross section will be, this is the depth of the slab. In this depth of the slab, at the top we will have these layers, then at the bottom we will have this layer. We generally prefer these layers to be U-shaped, means we bend the same bar. Is it okay? Then perpendicular to it also we have one layer here and one layer here. So this is the reinforcement, a mesh at the top, a mesh at the bottom. This is what? This is basically the torsion reinforcement. Is it okay? Clear? Now, what does the next clause says? The next clause says torsion reinforcement equal to half that described in D1.8 shall be provided at corners contained by edges over only one of which the slab is continuous. So, it says that if in a corner, both the edges are not discontinuous, one edge is discontinuous, another edge is continuous. Okay, like typically corner number 2. Then in this case, we will provide the reinforcement, we will provide the torsion reinforcement. Length of the torsion reinforcement will remain the same, 0.2 times Lx on both the sides. But the area of the reinforcement that we will provide, it will be 0.75 AST as it was there in this case, but it will be half that area. Same mesh, top and bottom, but now the area will be half the area that was provided in this case. Now look at this particular fourth corner. It is also the same corner, discontinuous on one side, continuous on one side. So it means the same thing as we have provided here, the same thing will be provided here. Now, what does the next clause say? It says torsion reinforcement need not be provided at any corner contained by edges over both of its slab is continuous. So, it says that if both the edges are continuous, like this particular corner number 3, then we do not require reinforcement. No torsion reinforcement is required for this corner. Okay, because this particular corner is continuous on both the sides. So this is the clause for torsion reinforcement. We have talked about the clauses for moment. We have talked about dividing the system into edge strip and middle strip. Then we have talked about additional reinforcement that is there, that is put in the type of additional torsion reinforcement. Okay, I told you that we are leaving 3 clauses. Now these 3 clauses are with respect to how do we bend the bars, for which length do we bend the bars. Let us see these clauses now. These are regarding the detailing. What does it say first? Tension reinforcement provided at midspan in the middle strip shall extend in the lower part of the slab to within 0.25 L of the continuous edge or 0.5 L of the discontinuous edge. Okay. I'll tell you what does it each mean. Over the continuous edge in a middle strip, the tension reinforcement shall extend in the upper part of the slab a distance of 0.15 L from the support, and at least 50% shall extend at a distance of 0.3 L from the support. Next is, at this continuous edge, negative moments may arise. They depend on the degree of fixity of the edge. In general, tension reinforcement equal to 50% of that provided at the midspan, extending 0.1 L into the span will be sufficient. So what does these clauses mean? All the three clauses, for that I can show you with this diagram. If I am basically drawing the detailing, what does it say? The first clause, it said tension reinforcement provided at the midspan. So the reinforcement that is provided at the midspan, at the center of the span, it shall continue into this particular support. And this particular continuation, half of it shall be extended in the lower part of the slab to within 0.25 L of the continuous edge. This particular will be extended to within 0.25 of the L. Is it okay? Clear? And if the edge is discontinuous, then it will extend at a distance of 0.15 into L. What does it mean? Let us say we are providing the reinforcement at a rate of 100 meters center to center. Half of it can be curtailed, then half of it must continue into the support. Then where shall it be curtailed? It shall be curtailed at 0.25 L. Similarly, it is at a distance of 0.15 L. Okay. Then the other clause, D1.5, is about this particular negative reinforcement. It says the negative reinforcement is required at the support, but this particular reinforcement shall go to this side as well as to this side by at least 0.15 L. Again, not all of this reinforcement shall be curtailed here at 0.15 L. At least half of it shall continue it further, and the total distance that half of it must cover is 0.3 L. Is it okay? Clear? The third clause, clause number D1.6, was about this particular negative reinforcement for the end support. It shall continue into this particular other side by 0.1 L from the face. Others were from the center of the support. This was from the face of the support. So this is how we will do the detailing of the reinforcement. Okay. Now I am closing my lecture here. Next lecture we will be designing, we will be taking one case and we will be designing the slab. Okay. So please go through it before I design that particular slab. Thank you.